What's up, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube? Boogie298 coming at you live once again through the power of the internet. And today I want to talk to you a little bit more about Google Stadia. So when Google Stadia first got announced, we were all kind of excited because we were picturing it as the Netflix of video games, streaming video games, that we would pay one flat fee a month of maybe $15, maybe even $20 a month and get access to all of these great games that we didn't have to have a gaming PC or a gaming console to play them on. And at the time, it made a lot of sense that maybe that's what Google was trying to do because there's already services like that, like PlayStation Now and Xbox Game Pass, who give you access to all of these great games for one low monthly fee. By the way, Xbox Game Pass remains the best value in gaming out there, period. Google Stadia launches in November, and now we have most of the details we would want, and I want to go over those details today. I want to talk about the good and the bad, and why I think most likely Google Stadia isn't a place where it's most likely going to fail. But before we dive too deep into this topic, let me go ahead and say this video is sponsored by the folks over at Audible. Did you know that Audible is the largest collection of audiobooks and spoken word entertainment in the entire world? But not only does Audible have a ton of stuff to listen to, it's just so easy to use. Recently, I've been listening to Stephen King's It, and this is like my third time through that audiobook, but with a new movie coming out in just a couple of months, I've been laying in bed, playing video games, and listening to it one more time before we get It Part 2 in theaters. I grew up reading Stephen King books, but these days I'm just so busy, I don't want to sit down and read. I'd rather be listening to a book while doing something else, and that is what Audible lets me do. Now, the good news is, if you want to do that yourself, all you got to do is go to audible.com/BOOGIE or text BOOGIE to 500-500 on your phone to get a special offer. When you do that, you'll get a free 30-day trial that includes one audiobook and 2 Audible originals. And then after the trial, you'll get 3 titles each month, 1 audiobook and 2 more Audible originals. And this deal is even sweeter if you have Amazon Prime, because all Amazon Prime members between now and July 31st will get 66% off of their first 3 months. That's like getting 3 months for the price of 1. So go to audible.com/BOOGIE or text Boogie to 500-500. You'll be getting a free trial. You'll be supporting me at the same time. All right, starting off, Google Stadia does one thing, and it does that one thing very, very well. It gives you access to video games either at 1080p or 4K, either 30 frames per second or 60 frames per second, without having to buy a gaming console, a PlayStation 4, an Xbox One, or a gaming PC. As long as you have a Google Pixel, a device that runs Chrome, or a television that you can plug a Chromecast into, you can play high-end video games that look really sharp. If you're a gamer who likes to play video games on the go, no longer do you have to pack up a gaming console. You don't have to bring your Nintendo Switch with you. You don't have to worry about gaming hardware at all. All you're going to need is a device that runs Chrome and your Google Stadia controller, and you can play just about any video game out there. It doesn't matter if it's Destiny 2 or Wolfenstein or the new Doom or anything new. The new Witcher is going to be on Stadia. It's a chance to play all of these games without bringing a console or hardware with you. But even if you are this idea customer that Google has in mind, chances are you're going to be turned off by some of the issues facing the platform. First off, there's the basic problem of latency, and basically, even though it's not as bad as you would think, there is still some time delay between when you press a button on the controller and what's happening on the screen, and that time delay in certain games is definitely going to make a big difference. But Google Stadia published this chart, and if you take a look, it's not that much worse than an Xbox One X, but still it's worse enough to where in some scenarios it's going to matter. And then there's the matter of resolution and frame rate. And here's the thing, they are promising up to 4K 60 frames per second with 5.1 surround sound, but you're going to have a pretty solid internet plan to get that. And even if you have that internet plan, there's always going to be some level of hiccups, either with your hardware at home or the hardware between you and the Google streaming place. So at the end of the day, you're going to experience some issues that you wouldn't experience on a console or on PC. Now, obviously, if you're one of those players who do not want to play video games that are always forcing you to be online, bad news, obviously, every video game you get, even if it's a game that wasn't designed to be played online, will have to be played online if you purchase it on Google Stadia. Once you purchase the game, to get the 1080p version of the game, you're still going to need about 20 megs down, which is about twice the national average for internet speeds in America. I mean, take a look at this chart of America, and you'll realize that anywhere that's in the red, and even some of the places that are in the lighter colored blue, will not have internet speeds fast enough to reach the 1080p, the free tier of Google Stadia. So it's just not going to be a service most of the country is going to be interested in. Even if you are the target customer and you are like me and you travel a lot and you want to play video games on the go, it's going to be very difficult to do it, especially when you're traveling through these red areas. And then if you're trying to do it on your Pixel phone, well, good luck with that. Because even with 5G in some areas, it's still not fast enough to hit a half decent stream. And don't forget the issue of data caps. A lot of us are having trouble downloading big games because we have data caps in place. Well, imagine when you're streaming those exact same games and you're streaming them for a lot longer than it took for you to download it originally, you're going to hit data caps even quicker. There are going to be people out there who pay for a game that simply cannot play it because their internet service provider has capped them. But the biggest issue facing Google Stadia right now is its own pricing structure, because if this was the Netflix of gaming, I think you would have a lot of gamers spending that $10, $15, maybe even $20 a month to get access to these games, but that's not how this system works. Instead, you have to purchase your games outright. And here's how it works. There is a free plan. If you purchase a video game for $60 through Google Stadia, then you can stream that game without spending any extra money. If you get, say, Doom Eternal, you can play that game anywhere at any time up to 1080p with 60 frames per second in stereo sound. And that's probably going to be good enough for most people's on-the-go internet or in most of the red states. The downside is, with the base version, there are no perks other than being able to play your games through a cloud system, which is an inferior system to either playing it on your own hardware via gaming console or PC. You're going to have to deal with all of those internet issues, those internet cap issues. You're going to have to deal with a lot of issues to play the same game you could play on Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, or a PC or a PlayStation. It's just nonsensical to want to spend the same amount of money for a more annoying version of the game. Now, Google will say with our Stadia Pro version, we do have plenty of perks. Not only can you play that video game you purchased up to 4K, 60 frames per second with 5.1 surround sound, but you can also get free games released regularly. Now, the problem with this is the very first flagship game they are offering is Destiny 2, and Destiny 2 has announced that they will be going free to play very soon anyway. So you're basically getting nothing in the first month, and that is their flagship offer. If it had been something like Doom Eternal, I would have been a lot quicker to bite, but it's not going to be. It's going to be a game that's going free to play anyway. There is one good thing about the high-end version of Google Stadia, and that is for your $9.99 a month, you will get deep discounts on video games. And where we haven't seen examples of that, if you were just to save $10 off each game you purchase on Google Stadia, then eventually you will be making a savings. And I think the biggest mistake here is they're not doing that for the free tier as well. There should be some discount, some incentive beyond the fact that you can stream these games to make you purchase games even for the free plan. And if it's a much deeper discount for the higher tier, then that's great. But it's Google we're talking about. They can afford to take a loss and get me my video games cheaper. And that is, I think, one of the biggest sticking points with Google Stadia is currently it is not a high value situation. It is high inconvenience with low value because it's cheaper and more convenient to just buy a gaming console used for $150 and then play that exact same $60 title on that system. And of course, I get a physical copy of that version as well, and then I can resell that physical copy or gift it to a friend. So there's a lot of value proposition lost in choosing to play a game on Google Stadia. But then it's also more inconvenient for most players. Unless I'm that magical unicorn that likes to play video games on the go, then chances are it's going to be more inconvenient for me to have to deal with data caps and deal with internet surges and deal with the internet being down and deal with just the fact that I don't have very good internet at my home. But I would choose to play a new game on Google Stadia if it was half price. Or God forbid, Google decided to really bite the bullet here and give away a high flagship game like Doom Eternal entirely for free. Let me play that video game for free on your platform, and then I'm probably going to love your platform. Or at least I'll put up with the inconvenience of your platform in order to save that money. You know what would be an even better system is if for one monthly fee, I got access to a lot of new and older video games that I could stream whenever I wanted to. You remember? The Netflix of gaming. But instead of that brilliant business plan, they are going with a completely different one where you have to pay the exact same price for a video game and play it in a much more inconvenient way. Now, I will go on to say that a game like Destiny 2 is a very good choice to give away for free because players will continue to come back to play it on Google Stadia. And here's the thing, once this game goes free to play, if Stadia continues to allow even free players who do not have a subscription to the service to play Destiny 2 as a free play to game on Google Stadia, knowing they'll make money off the microtransactions, then I think this could be one of the flagship games that will really get people to try the service and hopefully put up with the inconvenience. There just needs to be a lot more games like it. I mean, sure, there's got to be a lot of kids out there who do not have a phone or do not have a device that could play Fortnite. If they had a game like Fortnite being played through Google Stadia, maybe even Fortnite itself, and it was free to play for even free players, knowing they'll make money off microtransactions, then that might be a really great flagship opportunity for them. And of course, if Google Stadia was launching with a high-end exclusive that everybody was excited about, then that could be really amazing. But instead, we have games like Get Packed, which is coming in 2020. It's not even a launch title. So the exclusives for Google Stadia are basically non-existent. So I don't know why that's going to draw anybody to the platform. And don't get me wrong, Google Stadia is innovating in some ways that I'm still excited about. The state share ability to allow me to share with you the exact state that I'm currently playing in a game and have you hop right into it. Or the ability for a streamer to be able to share stuff like that with their viewers or even play with their viewers together by just a click of a button if they have Google Stadia. This is all really good stuff, but it's not enough to get your average consumer involved. Your average consumer is looking for two different things here, convenience and saving money. And if somehow you wrap those two together, then you will revolutionize gaming. As it is right now, Google Stadia is doing neither of those things, so it's going to be a very rocky start. I don't know. I do have my Founders Pack ordered right now, and I do look forward to playing around with it, and I hope that you'll watch me do it. But at the end of the day, even though I have really good internet, I still expect to run into problems. I have, because I played it at E3 and I ran into some minor problems there. Now, all of this is just one man's opinion. I could be wrong, and if I am, I know you're going to let me know in the comment section below. While you're down there, do me a favor, check out that link to Audible in the description box below. So glad to have Audible back. We're so grateful to have them sponsoring the channel once again. Hopefully we'll sponsor us again in the next few months, if enough of you decide to go get a free audiobook by using my link. Guys, as always, thanks for watching. I love you very much, and I'll speak with you again soon.